Who established Mayapur? Who established Navadvipa? Mahaprabhu came to Navadvipa, to Mayapur, but actually Srimati Radhika and the Astasakis established Navadvipa. You see in Antardvip, that is Radharani's island, and Antar means the innermost chamber. So it's not a coincidence that Swami Prabhupada established Radha Madhav and the Astasakis there in the main headquarters of his international mission. It's called Yoga Pit. Yoga Pit means the most sacred place of union. Yoga. The source, the center. And who is there in the center? Krishna is there, one. And then it's Saki, 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 all the 8 gopis who are Srimati Radhika's first expansions. Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Champakalata, Rangadevi, Sudevi, Induleka. Did I cover them all? Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Champakalata, Rangadevi, Sudevi, Tungavidya, and Induleka. 8 Sakis. Radharani's first expansions. They're there with Krishna. After Krishna left Vrindavan, where did he go? He went to Dwarka. And he established his civilization there, you could say. But when you try to establish the transcendental in this realm, it's not always the easiest thing. People have to willingly participate in God's desire because He gives us free will. So if you want the spiritual world, you could say like the particles of light, the fragrance, the pollen, those sprinkles of spirit to enter into the material realm and to be present there, you have to have the right mentality to guard, to protect, to honor, to serve them. Does it make sense? The demigods were born in Krishna's family. And they are very good. They are devotees of the Lord. But they are also enjoyers. And Krishna thought, before I leave this world, if I leave my direct family line present in this world who are all born demigods, before Krishna took birth, the earth was beset by so many demons. And the earth in personified form prayed to Brahma, the first son of Krishna, the secondary creator. Please help us. And Krishna said, I will come. Before I come, have all the demigods appear in my Yadava line. And then they will help perform the duty of removing the demonic forces, establishing proper religion. But before Krishna left, he said they also have to leave. Otherwise, what will happen in my name? Now they are good, but what's going to happen 20 generations removed, 40 generations removed, when living entities are going to enter into that family and not be having pure motivation? So Dwarka Leela closed. It was submerged. Dwarka city was submerged by water of the ocean, the flood, and all Krishna's family disappeared with him on the pretense of a great magic show, which is they all had a bloody quarrel. After Mahabharata war, next fight. And all the Yadavas left. Only a few, Uddhava and so forth, remained. I want to mention something else very interesting. And I'm getting to Mayapur. So from Vrindavan, Krishna went to Dwarka. And Hastinapur, he would go back and forth to Delhi. Delhi is very nearby Hastinapur. It was the capital of the Kuru dynasty. So when you hear the Pandavas and the Kurus and Mahabharata, that all happened around Delhi. They chose the battlefield Kurukshetra. It wasn't like modern warfare where it's urban warfare is very tamasic. Righteous warfare means, okay, let's pick a big field, let's play it like a game, sport, and duke it out until whoever survives. That was righteous warfare in the past. It didn't destroy the cities. They literally went and decided, okay, let's pick a big, nice field where we can all slaughter each other because we couldn't figure out how to deal with our problems and come to some reconciliation. So I guess we're just going to have to fight to the death. But at least let's not do it in the cities, which we will destroy. Let's not kill the women and children. And let's do it with some honor. Let's not fight at night. Let's sit together and have dinner like boxers. And we know if we fight for Dharma, when we die, we'll go to Swarga, no problem. So that was Hastinapur. But then Krishna, he established his capital in Dwarka. So Srila Rupa Goswami describes that Radharani and some of the gopis also went to Dwarka in a second form. I'm mentioning this because later Radharani and her own group, they came to... You okay? Radharani and her own intimate group came to Mayapur afterwards. That's why I'm mentioning Dwarka. In Vrindavan, this is a very complex topic, so we'll get into it at another class. In Vrindavan, Radharani is present, her different Astasakis are present, the Manjaris and all the other Sakis are present. We have our japa beads, that's 108 beads, all the gopis and the group leaders. Each bead represents many other gopis. So you chant the largest 8 beads next to the Radha Krishna beads, the center. We don't chant on it and we don't go over it. It's Radha Krishna. And then the biggest bead is Lalita and her group. Then Vishaka and her group. Chitra and her group. Champa Kalata and her group. Sometimes it's described like that. The small beads are Guru, Param Guru, Parameshti Guru, Paratpar Guru, Paramparatpar Guru, like that. The small bead side is the Manjaris. The big bead side is the Sakis. That's all Vrindavan, and it's all Swapaksha, same group. But in Vrindavan also, for the experience of sweetness in Madhurya Rasa, the sweet pastime of romantic love, Radharani also expands into opposing groups. Chandravali, who is her antagonist, and her mood towards Krishna is very different, and they are rivals. Shama, Shaibya, Padma, many different groups are there. There are 4 main groups of gopis. One is called Swapaksha. That's Radharani's own personal group, like the Japamala. In the Japamala, it's all Swapaksha gopis. That means her own group. Astasakis on the big side, and then other Sakis, and then Manjaris. And each bead represents their whole group. So in that way, there's millions of gopis. If in one temple there's 3,000 devotees, then in Krishna's realm there's not millions of gopis? Doesn't make sense? One temple here, there's 3,000 devotees, and right now there's 10,000 ISKCON devotees on Parikrama in different groups, different parties. So that's just what we saw there. So many temples, so many devotees. So Krishna and Radharani can't have millions of gopis? Millions of cowherd boys? So in our japa bead, that is our Swapaksha group. But then there's the Vipaksha group, the rival group. And what is the nature, the difference of the Swapaksha and the Vipaksha group, Radharani's own group versus the opposing group, is their moods are very different. And their approach to serving and pleasing Krishna is very different. And therefore, it's like oil and water. And therefore, sometimes they'll criticize each other. They don't know how to please Krishna and serve Krishna. They're too mild-mannered, they're too gentle, they're too this, they're too that. Radharani is too contrary, Lalita is too contrary. So there's distinction like that. It's all pleasing Krishna, it's all service to Krishna, it's all part of the play of rasa. It's all very beautiful and sweet. But it's still mixed. And there's still obstacles in the meeting with Krishna. In Vrindavan, for Radharani to meet with Krishna is very difficult. She has to cross over the obstacles of her in-laws. Mother-in-law, sister-in-law. She's not married directly to Krishna. She has to cross over the obstacles of her own shyness sometimes, or her own contrary moods. Lalita Devi's strong words, don't go and see Krishna, he's a rascal. Swami Prabhupada would use this word. So with great affection, no problem. Mahaprabhu also said Krishna is lampat, no problem. Dabauchi, no problem. God can do as he likes. So, Vipaksha is there, Swapaksha is there. Then Tatashta, neutral party, is there. And then there is Suhrit, friendly party. In life you'll see this. You'll have some people who are your close friends, and some people who are just like your heart and soul, your close family. There's a difference between a friend and someone who's like your family. And then there's a difference between someone who's a friend, someone who's your family, and someone who's like an acquaintance. You're not overly friendly and you're not antagonistic. And then there's someone who's really your enemy, your rival, your antagonist. So there's these groups in Vrindavan. And it enhances the sweetness of Krishna Leela. Jai Prabhuji Haribol. When Krishna goes to Dwarka, Radharani takes on the form of Satyabhama, And Chandravali takes on the form of Rukmini. There's a lot of interesting mysteries and intricacies around this. And again, we'll dive more into it later. But think about it, okay? Meditate on it. There's a science about how it happened. Radharani taking shelter of the sun god, who is like her father and also her disciple, because really he is her junior. From that sun line came Satyabhama, and later she married Krishna. It's not direct Srimati Radhika, what we call Brishabhanu Nandini. Radharani in Vrindavan, Radharani in Braj, who never leaves Braj. That's Brishabhanu Nandini Srimati Radhika. She's the root. But other expansions of her Shakti incarnations are there. So, she becomes Satyabhama and marries Krishna, but Krishna's first wife is Rukmini, Chandravali. And so in Dwarka, Radharani has to take a subordinate role. And what is prominent in Dwarka? Opulence, awe and reverence. And this is Radharani showing us that don't be too attracted to opulence. That's not the primary thing. And when the gopis went to Kurukshetra at the solar eclipse, Radharani asked Krishna, please come back to Vrindavan. Why are you here amidst all this opulence? You like this? You like wearing a heavy crown? Sometimes we'll put a crown on Krishna in the temple. If we don't have enough time to do a turban, Prabhuji always gets upset. Why are you putting a crown on Krishna? Krishna is a Brajbasi. He wears a turban. You want him to wear a heavy crown? I used to dress the deities every single day for like 6 years. Those deities we have in Radhakunj, when they came, we opened their box. Prabhuji said, come to the room, quick, let's open them. They came in the car, we worshipped them in the car, did arti, blow the conch shells, brought them in their boxes, and then it was time for them to, take a little rest after the travel. And then Prabhuji woke up and said, come to the room, let's see Thakurji. So we opened them, and there's beautiful Radharani, beautiful Krishna, beautiful Lalita, beautiful Vishaka. We established them, worshipped them. It was my service to dress them and to find their cloth, to go to the market, to pick out cloth for them, to help design it, and I'd never learned how to sew, so thank God to all the wonderful Matajis who sewed beautiful outfits. We would dress them every day, and someone sometimes would give a crown. They'd say, oh, can you put this crown on Krishna? And generally, we would put turbans, because we know Krishna's Brijvasi. But once in a while, if you had, say, a big program like a Parikrama, like today, sometimes we would dress Krishna before Mangalarti. And so Krishna has a crown on. I remember one time we put a crown, and it would be very rare. Hey, why is Krishna wearing a crown? He doesn't like it. Give him a turban. Light and simple. And for our Thakurji, Radharman in New York, he says, don't give them too heavy jewelry. They're not from Dwarka. They don't want one gold, next one, 5 kilo weight of necklaces. So give them some sweet, delicate necklaces, proper ornaments, and some soft, simple flower garland. They're Brajbasis. They're not running after opulence. So Rukmini is Chandravali. Satyabhama is Radharani's expansion. Rukmini is Chandravali's expansion. There's many sweet pastimes about this. One time Narad Muni came to Dwarka, and he brought a flower from heaven called the Parijat, the most famous flower in the world. Not this world, because it comes from heaven. It's a flower that's only available in heaven, but Narad Muni, because he's the traveling mystic spaceman, he would go to heaven, and he said, I'm going to go see Krishna in Dwarka. Can I take him a flower? And Indradev, the king of heaven, gave him a flower. So he brought it to Krishna, and Krishna was sitting in his assembly with all his wives, all the queens, his children. And in front of him, Narad said, I brought this flower for you. Give it to your dearmost wife. Give it to your closest wife. Narad Muni is mischief maker, troublemaker. Krishna thought what to do. He was perplexed, thinking the only reconciliation is I'll have to give it to my first queen, who everyone will accept. She is the most, you could say, everyone can accept that they're her junior. And if you hear the story of Rukmini, it's a wonderful story. Her devotion to Krishna, her one-pointedness to Krishna, and her also gentleness, her softness. She's Chandravali Mut. Chandravali Mut is very gentle, very soft. She never has man to Krishna. She cannot do man. Radharani performs man. Chandravali may try, but it just doesn't come to her. Radharani's nature, she loves to show Krishna, and Krishna enjoys the man even more. That means Radharani gets angry at Krishna and kicks him out of the kunj. Krishna sometimes tries to enter the kunj. She said, "You didn't buy this kunj for us. You don't own us. You didn't build this house. You don't take care of Vrindavan. You don't take care of the flowers. This is my kunj. Vrinda Devi gave it to me. You're not welcome here." And Krishna has to stay outside the kunj. Krishna has to sometimes chant Radha mantra for hours and hours and hours all day long just to have darshan of Radharani. To say, don't give him darshan. Sometimes Krishna will stay outside the kunj chanting Radha Gayatri all day. All day, like for 12 hours. And Radharani will be in the kunj. And Krishna, some kunjas only have one entrance and one exit. So Krishna will sit himself at the entrance and the exit, very nearby. It's like, I'm not going to move. Why? Look, in Mahabharata Leela, Hanuman was once laying down, his tail was across the path, and Bhima was looking for food. And he came across the path, and he asked, Hanuman, he didn't know he was Hanuman, he was like a Vanara, large Vanara. And Hanuman said, I'm very old, I can't lift my tail. You can lift it if you want. Bhima tried to lift his tail, he couldn't do it. Have you heard this story? It's a far out story. Bhima, who has the strength of 10,000 elephants, couldn't lift the tail of Hanuman. He was trying and trying and trying. He said, who are you? And then Hanuman smiled and said, I'm Hanuman. And he revealed himself, because Hanuman can shapeshift and show himself like, oh, I'm just an old, tired monkey. Lift my tail for me. So otherwise you don't cross over, it's disrespectful. You never cross over someone's legs or step over them. It said your lifespan, your wealth, your fame, everything is taken away by that dishonor to another living being. Stepping over, someone. So, the point is, Krishna is like, okay, she doesn't want to give me darshan, but I'm not moving. I'm going to do my mantra. And Radharani says, okay, well, you can stay there, I'll stay here. I'm with all my friends, all my gopis. Do your sakhas have as much patience as they have? So Krishna will chant Radha Gayatri hour and hour and hour on end. After a lot of tapasya, Radharani may give darshan. So this is Radharani's mood, and Krishna appreciates this the most. Chandravali is very gentle. So one time, he gave this flower to Rukmini. And Radharani's mood, not Radharani directly, don't think it's Radharani directly. It's her expansion, her incarnation. Krishna has incarnations. So Satyabhama, she stormed off. She took off all her jewelry, put on her man clothes. So ladies, especially queens, they have their public attire, they have their angry attire, they have their room to hang out with their girlfriends, they have their room to hang out when they're angry at their husband. So she went into her anger room, put on her anger outfit, and wouldn't see Krishna. And Krishna was trying again and again, but she didn't want to go see him. There's a different example with Rukmini to show the difference of the mood. One time Krishna was teasing Rukmini. Oh, Rukmini, I'm not so qualified. People question my caste. Am I from a cowherd family, which is a business Vaishya class, business class? Am I from a Kshatriya family, warrior class, like a kingly class, son of Devaki and Vasudev? People question my caste. People question my character. Shishupal would have been a better husband for you. I know you wrote me a sweet romantic love letter, and I'm very soft-hearted, and if people write me a love letter, Krishna has a hard time resisting someone's love letter. Rukmini said, I don't care if I'll give up my life before I marry Shishupal. She wrote very pathetic meaning very romantic, very full of pathos, and Krishna came and accepted her. But now he was teasing her. He wanted to see. He wanted to experience that mood of Radharani a little bit. Is she going to have any contrariness? So Krishna was teasing her and saying, he was really putting it on thick, method acting. I'm just, and look, you have to share me with so many other women. Krishna would expand into many forms. He manifest them all their own palaces, and he'd be with them. Narad saw that. It was very mystical. But he would tease her like this, and hearing Krishna tease her, she just fainted on the ground. You have like a very delicate flower and a very thin stem, and if the stem is cut, what happens to the flower? Very gently it will fall over onto the ground, like a tulip. Very gentle, very soft, right? Snip. You don't touch it. It's like slow motion. Rukmini fell on the ground. Krishna thought what to do. He had to call his doctors, give her some smelling salts. So, dear Rukmini, lift her in his arms. I was just joking. She doesn't have a contrary mood. Gurudev would say it's not samartha rati. Her rati, or love and attraction to Krishna, isn't capable of completely controlling Krishna. Only Radharani and her groups, their love is powerful enough that it controls Krishna. That's called samartha rati. Gurudev asked me this when I was maybe 13 or 14. We were on a morning walk in Houston, and Gurudev had many sannyasis around him, and he was asking him the question, what are the three kinds of rati? Samanjasya, sadharan, and samartha. And nobody gave a satisfactory answer, and he asked me, and I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't say anything. Gurudev said, you'll know in time. So anyhow, samartha rati is the love that is the potency, the capability. Samartha means capability. It's capable of controlling Krishna. So that's Dwarka Leela. The gopis next manifested in Dwarka Leela. Radharani is incarnation, Satyabhama, Chandravali, Rukmini, and other queens. This is described by Rupa Goswami in his books. So, and I'm not going to tell the rest of the Satyabhama story. Just in essence, the difference with Radharani's mood is Krishna had to go to heaven and steal a whole tree and fight with all the demigods and bring the whole Parijat tree and plant it in Satyabhama's garden. And then he had Satyabhama invite all the other queens to her garden. And, Rukmini had one flower, but the flower was immortal. So Radharani, Rukmini's got to keep her flower, and it was always blossoming. Flower from heaven. But Satyabhama said, I have a flower tree. So she was the junior wife, but look how the rasa plays. Radharani takes on the junior wife role, her humility. So that's Dwarka Leela. What about Mayapur Leela? Mayapur is established by Radharani and only her own group. You understand what I'm saying? In Vrindavan, 4 groups. Swapaksha group, Vipaksha group, Suhrit group, Tatashta group. Own group, opposing group, neutral group, and friendly group. And then Dwarka also, opposing group and own group. What about Mayapur? Mayapur only own group. You understand? In Vrindavan, very hard to meet with Krishna. So many obstacles. When Lalita does Aarti to Krishna and Radharani, especially Radharani, when she's offering the Aarti lamp to Radharani, Gurudev described this. Her mood is, may this lamp create auspiciousness. May I be able to offer my life in removing all obstacles in Radharani meeting with Krishna. That is called love and devotion. That is called faith. Prabhupada Swami Maharaj's mood was, may I remove all obstacles in the manifestation of my Guru's desire. May I remove all obstacles that may be in my mind. Many obstacles are in the mind. Many obstacles are out there in the world. But I have faith in his words that it can be done, so I will do my efforts to do that. That is how faith takes flight. You understand? So Lalita Devi is doing Aarti to Radharani. How are all her obstacles in meeting with Krishna removed? And she is weeping, thinking, why Radharani tries to meet with Krishna and he's surrounded by his family. Sometimes Radharani and Krishna are in an assembly and Krishna's family is there and other elders are there and they're not able to meet. And sometimes Radharani was angry at Krishna the night before. And so what Krishna will do is he'll position his shadow in such a way that his head will touch Radharani's feet. He'll maneuver and walk around in such a way like we see shadows, right? So Krishna's head, and he'll very casually put his hand, touch her feet. Radharani will look away and blush, and Krishna will take away her man in this way. And so much desire for meeting is there. Sumangala Rati, that very auspicious Rati that we sing in Mangala Arti. Sumangala Rati, very auspicious love. Very rare love. Very hard to obtain. Very difficult to meet Krishna. So many obstacles in the path to meeting Krishna. Then Krishna goes and he's all day long with his coward friends, just playing sports and killing demons. The original boy. If you were to ask like an 8-year-old boy, normal boy, what the perfection of life would be, what God would be like, he'd be a young boy who gets to play with his friends and kill demons. Does it make sense? Right? This is the intuition of a child. Proper boy. Kill the demon, save the damsel, live happily ever after playing with your friends. So Krishna is absorbed in this way, but it makes it difficult for Radharani to meet. But where can they meet where there's no obstacles, where all obstacles have been removed? When Lalita Devi's Aarti has achieved its full success, where is that place where there's no obstacles in their meeting? That's Radha Kund. Radha Kund in Vrindavan is a protected area in Govardhan. It's described to be the highest place in spiritual existence, Radha Kund. No obstacles to meeting. Why? Radha Krishna are meeting eternally at Radha Kund because the water of Radha Kund and the water of Sham Kund meet. The waters have met together. They've merged. There's a pathway in between Radha Kund and Sham Kund, and then there's a opening in the pathway underneath, and the waters meet. So in that way, they're eternally meeting. And in that place, it's protected by their Gopi guards. We've talked about this kind of the power of the Gopis. Don't mess with the Gopis. Radharani's own group. They protect that area. They have spies, they have messengers, they have parrots. The parrots are great spies. You see, they're very clever and very mischievous. Our soda pop from San Diego. Very intelligent parrot. So intelligent, he doesn't reveal it all to you. You are his servant. He is not your servant. Most intelligent. But they are messengers. Sukha and Sari are messengers to Vrinda and Srimati Radhika. And if anyone's trying to come close, they'll use the different Astasakis have spells, mystic powers, and they can take you in the wrong pathway. Like this morning, we're trying to go to Mayapur, we took the wrong turn. We took some help of a local to help us get the way there. So even if someone's trying to get to Radhakund, they'll just go in circles and never be able to find it. So it's a protected area. Mayapur is a protected area. After Radhakund, Mayapur, Antadweep is Radharani's own garden. It's called Radhavan. Radharani's garden. There's Vrindavan and then there's Radhavan. And Radhavan is this island we're on. Think of it as a lotus. This is what's called the pericarp, the center of the lotus. And then the other 8 islands are the petals coming from that lotus. And we're going to be visiting these islands, Godrumadweep. We sing, we pray after every program we have, morning, noon, evening, and so forth. We say, Jai Antardweep, Mayapur, Samantardweep, Rudradeep, Godrumadweep, Madhyadeep, Koladweep, Moda, Drumadweep, Rudradeep, Patmika, Shri Navadvipa Ki Jai. Like that, the 9 islands. So these are the 8 islands of the Astasakis. So in Radhavan, which is Antardweep, Radharani is there with her 8 Sakis. That's the headquarters. But then in Godrum, Lalita Saki. Then there's Champaka Lata Saki. In Champakata. In this way, all the Astasakis have their own islands. And all the islands have different limbs of devotion as their primary gift. So Godrum is Kirtan, that's where we're going to be going tomorrow. Here's Mayapur. Atma Samarpana, complete self-surrender, complete offering of oneself to Krishna. So, this is a very special place. The Vaishnavas describe, Radharani and the Gopis came here in Vrindavan. When Krishna left for 100 years, they were lamenting with so much separation. They maintained their life because they knew Krishna will be very sad if we give up our life. Krishna will be very sad. Anyhow, we should maintain our life. As difficult as it is, we'll save this for the next class. But anyhow, they maintain their life. So then in one form, they came to Mayapur and here established Navadvip. Just like Rukmini was Chandravali and Satyabhama was incarnation of Radharani, Radharani and the Astasakis came here and established Navadvip. They are the founders. And then Mahaprabhu said, I will come, and when I appear in this world, I will appear in Mayapur. Radhavan. My birthplace will be in Radharani's garden. That's where I will come. Why? He begged her for her mood and her complexion, her effulgence. Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Nomi Gora Swarupam. And he came to appear here in Mayapur, that is Radhavan. That is Mahaprabhu's appearance place, where it's only one pointed towards Krishna's service, Krishna's happiness, following under the guidance of Srimati Radhika. That is our Mayapur-dham. And all the 9 islands are the places of the 8 Sakhis and Srimati Radhika. Srimati Radhika being here, and the other 8 islands, each of the Sakhis. So when we go to these islands, we'll describe the glories of each Sakhi there. Whose island is this? What is her gift? How can we take her shelter? Whose island is this? Whose island is this? So we're going to get into all these discussions. One other thing I want to mention about Mayapur and Bengal. Mahaprabhu chose Bengal, but before Mahaprabhu, Radharani, why? There must be something special about Bengal. Bengal has a lot of natural devotion towards the goddess. Some places in India are more oriented towards the Godhead in its masculine form, and some places more towards the form of the goddess. South India, they worship primarily Vishnu, the form of God in his masculine aspect, as the abode of all majesty. Godhead in his form of opulence. But here in Bengal, everyone worships the goddess. Everyone will say, Jai Mata Di. You can hear sometimes people will go in trucks. You know, there'll be a truck driver and 30 people in the back of the truck with open air, and they'll be going somewhere, and everyone will be chanting, Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di means all glories to the mother. All glories to the mother. All glories to the mother. So Bengal has a lot of natural devotion to mother, goddess. And India is also considered mother, Bharat Mata, Mother India. So I don't know this as fact, but I would conjecture this idea of the spirit of Mother India is very present here in Bengal. Maybe this is her birthplace also. I don't know. But Bengal is where Mother Goddess is very respected. It's a good place, ripe. Everyone is worshipping Durga Kali, and that's a different discussion. We'll get into how people transitioned from a more barbaric form of goddess worship towards the perfected form of goddess worship in the service of Srimati Radhika. Because there are many barbaric forms of goddess worship with great devotion to the goddess. But I have so much devotion to you that I'm going to sacrifice a young boy to you, which has happens in the past. Find, oh, it's a nice young, healthy boy. Let's offer him to the goddess. They did this. They tried to do this with Jad Bharat. Let the goddess drink his blood, and they think that's worship of the goddess. But they have natural devotion. They have devotion. It's a beautiful place. So Mahaprabhu chose this place. This place is therefore significant. Every place on earth has different natural energy. Go to New York City, it has an energy. Go to London, it has an energy. Go to Netherlands, go to Amsterdam, different energy. Go to New Orleans, different energy. Go to San Diego, different energy. Go to San Francisco, different energy. Go to LA, different energy. Very different energy. Go to Anchorage, Alaska, different energy. You spent some time there, right?
No.
Alaska?
No, just one flight.
Oh, okay. Anyhow, every place has some energy. So Mayapur, Bengal, has a very sweet energy. And Bengal produces the best poets, the best philosophers, very sweet people, very loving, generous people, very powerful people, very controlling people, all sorts. One time, there's a joke in the Gaudiya Mat that one Bengali is enough for one mission. Right? They're very powerful. Like Mayapur, right? Only Radharani's party. Everyone under her guidance, Lalita, Vishaka, all very powerful in their own right, but all under Radharani's guidance. ISKCON, Swami Prabhupada, everyone under Swami Prabhupada's guidance. No mixture. Right? One Bengali, enough for one mission. Any other Bengalis want to be there? They must be under their guidance. Very powerful people. We have Ram Krishna Paramahansa in the Ram Krishna Mat, and they worshipped Shakti. Vivekananda Swami, Swami Vivekananda, many great, Rabindranath Tagore, who won the Nobel Prize in poetry, Bengali. So it's a very sweet, very powerful, very wonderful place. But who is the most important person who ever appeared here? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gadadhar Pandit, Swarup Damodar, Murari Gupta, Vakreshwar Pandit. We're going to go to their house. We'll go to Murari Gupta's house, Mahaprabhu's doctor. There's a story of how, so many sweet stories. One time he offered so much bhoga, so many offerings to Mahaprabhu in his heart and his mind in Manasi Seva that Mahaprabhu's stomach was bloated. He just offered him a huge feast in his mind, so much. Mahaprabhu had to eat it all, so his stomach, and he said, "Oh, doctor, come. I need some mint tincture to pacify my stomach. People have been offering to me too much." So many sweet stories. They have so much love for Mahaprabhu. Murari Gupta is one form of Hanuman. One time he was lamenting. It's a sweet story. We're going to go there soon. So one time he was lamenting, "Oh, I don't have the nature in my swarup to serve Radharani as her manjari. My swarup is fixed. I'm a Ram Bhakta." But Mahaprabhu is chanting Radhe Radhe, Gopi Gopi, establishing the love of Radharani in this world. I'll give up my life. Sometimes devotees have this like very volatile moods. They have so much devotion, it's like a powerful energy. It can swing. It's the source of like bipolar people in this world, right? This extreme love and extreme mood swings. So Murari Gupta thought, well, if I can't achieve Radha Dasyam because my soul is a servant of Ram who I love and cannot give up, but I love Mahaprabhu and he loves Radharani and he's Radharani's expansion and he's chanting about Krishna Krishna, then I'll just take my life. And so he had a knife under his pillow and he was thinking when he wakes up he's going to just finish it. And Mahaprabhu, this is before sannyas, very young, sweet, beautiful Mahaprabhu, fresh youth, 18, 19. He came and knocked on his door in the morning, early, Mangalarti time. Murari Gupta got up and he saw the Lord and he had a few tears in his eyes. He was feeling very sad. And he offered respect to Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu said, "Dear uncle and dear doctor, can I ask you one thing? Can you do one thing for me? I have one request." And he thought, I should fulfill Mahaprabhu's request because when he leaves, I might take my life. And Mahaprabhu said, "Can you give me the knife that's under your pillow?" Said, "You're Ram Bhakta. You're ecstatic and blissful in that. Don't worry. I know you're worried about Radha Dasyam now because I'm establishing that. But don't worry. I am Ram." And so Mahaprabhu appeared as Ram and Murari Gupta took him on his shoulders and they danced around the courtyard with great ecstasy. And I imagine how happy Murari Gupta was. I get to be Hanuman, no problem. That's why there's Hanuman temples in Vrindavan and Neem Karoli Baba, Hanuman Bhakta, has his temple in Vrindavan. Hanuman's also in Vrindavan. And he also respects Krishna and the Brijabasis. So there's place for everyone. But there's so many glories of this transcendental land. Understand you're on Radharani's island now. And Mahaprabhu came to this place and will visit this place and all her associates and hear about Lord Nityananda, hear about this place. There are so many glories. We are so lucky to be here.